Okay, we are back. Don't you love technical difficulties? Living in the country and going through a snowstorm right now is so much fun. So I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to hop back on live with me. I know that was a bit of a pain in the butt. Let me make sure that I'm live in the right place. The internet does not love me today. What can I say? Any other country livers? Okay, welcome back. We are in the right place. I will pull it up on my phone. Now, rather than seeing comments on my computer, I'm going to look at the comments on my phone. So glad to see all of you joining me live again. Okay. So fun. Okay, let me know how we are doing in terms of the connection now. Is this a little bit better? It should be better now that it is on my phone, but I'm just seeing if I can pull up comments. And if I can't, I can't. It's okay. I will go back and check into them later, but I really, really like having trainings that are interactive, where we can talk back and forth, where you can tell me what you're experiencing, that I can help troubleshoot. But you know what? This is the way of the world. And if I have to hop back on later to answer your questions, then I will gather them all up and I will do that. So you guys, we are heading into 3 full days together. Today, Friday, next Tuesday, I have so much training that I want to give you. And I've been furiously writing notes, taking them from last year's Ignite workshop, hands up if you were here, but honestly revising and looking at what's going on in the industry right now, looking at what's going on in social media, and really looking at what I want to leave you with at the end of this workshop. And so, like I said before, if you hear me reference the Level Up Academy, there are so many on live with me right here. Let me know if you're in the Academy. The Academy is my one-stop program for women in network marketing or direct sales or social selling, whatever you want to call it. It gives you kind of the A to Z on how to build a network marketing business, step-by-step blueprint guide. There are so many good things coming inside of 2024. The industry is changing, social selling is changing, and it's our job to grow and evolve with it. For those of you that don't know, not only have I been in this industry for over 10 years, but I'm actually still actively growing my very own network marketing business. I started with a company that just launched in Canada. I started the week they launched in Canada a year and a half ago. It actually happened to be the exact same week that my company of 8.5 years decided to go direct to consumer. And I saw everything that had taken me 8+ years to build slip down the drain. I could still earn an affiliate income on what I sold, but I'm Canadian, for those of you that do not necessarily know. And not only did they put a lot of parameters, which made it virtually impossible to sell in Canada, paying duties, charging shipping, what it actually costs to ship. And for those of you that don't know, one of the major marketing expenses for every single one of our companies is compensating shipping. Actually, shipping in Canada is exponentially expensive. Like, it's insane. And so when you put on duties with that, shipping was costing $30-$40 anyway. So what went from, being a multi 6-figure business in less than 6 weeks, or sorry, in less than 3 weeks, dropped to making between $500 and $1,000 and could no longer support my family. And yes, I had been building a coaching business for 4 years, and I thank God for that every single day, because had I not been, I don't know what we would have done. But I did make a massive pivot at that time. And when I did that, I really looked at what I wanted out of the company. I had a lot of experience in the industry, knew exactly what I was looking for, and hopped in with a company that was just launching in Canada. And so one of the things that I want you to know is that I'm in here in the trenches with you, right? I am actively out there building a social selling business. I am leading a team. I am growing a team and organization. And I think that I have always loved this being a piece of my coaching business. I always love being able to hop on coaching calls or do private coaching and have that real relevant experience. If I was no longer in the industry, I wouldn't see the changes and experience the changes in the same way that I do right now. So you guys, we have such an amazing 3 days ahead of us. I'm so excited. Okay, Perfect. Let me know if you're here with me. Let me know how long you've been with your company. And if somebody invited you to this group, I want you to tag them. Or if you have invited somebody, I want you to tag them. I want you to use these people as your business besties for the next week to hold you accountable to showing up to these trainings and to getting as much as you can from these trainings. If you're a leader in the industry, start a conversation with the women that are in this workshop with you, or grab a sideline sister or somebody from another company and do the trainings with them. Talk about them behind the scenes. Ask yourselves, not only what am I taking from these workshops, but how am I going to take action from these workshops? Because that is the single most important thing that I want you to do from these workshops is take action, messy, imperfect, consistent action. Because if everybody, I've in over a decade, people have asked me a million different times what my secret is. My secret is that I just keep going, that I assume failure will happen a million times along the way. I am not at all afraid of it. It's not that I don't feel that other people might be judging me or those eyes or whatever, but I never let that stop me and I never let that slow me down. And so I want that for all of us right now, is just to figure out how to build a consistent business. And let me know, is this business a full time for you? Do you have 1 hour to work your business a day? Like, how much time do you have to plug into your business? Because one of the things we're going to talk about today is how to work your business inside of 1 hour a day. And if you want, I will add a bonus training called my Power Hour training, where I will teach you how to decide what you do inside your hour a day. So today is Jamie Lynn's 1-year anniversary. Has that already been a year? Wow. 5 years. You guys are amazing. Okay. Keep them coming. This is interactive. So, like I said, today we are going to talk about some of the things that are holding us back. Because we all, like, what do you want from your business, right? Like, I feel like we all want consistent income. We want our actions, our consistent day-to-day actions, to lead to consistent income, whatever that income looks for you. I remember in the very beginning of my business journey, I'll never forget the very first $17 that I ever made. I went like online, and without like giving a massive discount to my mom, kind of thing. I went running into my husband. I was like, oh my goodness, I just sold this thing. And that like what if statement popped into my head. And if you've been in my world, I talk about your what if statements all the time, because these are the single most powerful questions that you could be asking yourself. What if, and then you fill in the blank. And I said to him that day, what if I could make $200 a month from this brand new business that I never intended to be a business? My friends, was 1000% a kidnapper. I joined my company after my house had been broken into. I had 2 babies that were under 2. I had a belly with another baby that was like about to be born in a month. When he came out, all 3 of my children were under 2.5 years old, all boys. It was absolute like mayhem and grossness in our house. And so I had no business starting a business. But that day when I made that $17 and I asked myself, what if I could make $200 a month? That $200 was an absolute game changer and lifesaver from us. So whatever that number is for you, whatever your what if statement is for you, I want you to put that into the comments right now. And I want you to know that every what if statement, it matters, right? And it leads you to that next what if statement, right? And that $200, and let's never ever dispel the power of making $200 or $500 a month. That could be a car payment. That could be your groceries for the month. It could be the difference of getting to your child getting to play soccer this summer or getting to play baseball this summer. If I could tally up the amount that we spend on hockey in a season between 2 rep players and then a goalie who plays in 2 rec leagues, it blows my own mind some days. So let me know if I'm still coming in nice and clear, because I'm not seeing comments right now. And I feel like sometimes Facebook likes to just play massive, massive tricks on me. It hates me sometimes. So let me know what your what if statements are, because these statements are where we open ourselves up to possibilities. Like, these statements are where we really test ourselves, and I think deep down, if we're willing to ask ourselves that what if question, we know that it's possible for us inside of our businesses. And that's what I want you to know right now is if you make a commitment this year in 2024 to figuring out what it is you need to do in your business every single day, then if you pile on top of each other one day after another, after another, after another, after another, you will hit every single what if statement you can ask yourself. I promise you that. But what I can also promise you is that the start and the stop will kill your business every single day. So I'm going to ask you, what if I could teach you to work your business inside of a 1 hour period every single day? Could you commit to that? Could you carve out 30 to 60 minutes every single day if it was going to drive consistent income inside your life, right? And ask yourself, like, this what if statement, how does that what if statement change your life, right? How did that $200 change my life a little over 10 years ago? Well, I'll tell you, it made it so that, like, I didn't have to connect the dots every single month. It made it so that I could buy a little, I guess maybe a fun toy for the boys, or go for dinner with my husband, or the day that he came home with a speeding ticket, it made it so I wasn't crying on the floor, right? Because making ends meet and struggling like that, $200, $500 can absolutely change your life. And if your what if statement is, what if I could make $20,000 a month, then I'm here for that too. I'm here for all of that, but I want you to pick a what if statement that feels like a challenge, but also something that you can reach for, so that it becomes a motivator inside of your life and inside of your business. And so that it actually gets you up out of bed every day, helps you push aside those excuses, and gets you to work your business. Because let me tell you something, my friends, on a perfect day, we can all work our businesses, but how many times does life go perfectly, like smoothly forever, right? How many times do the clouds part and the seas part, and you have all this time that you don't know what to do with to build your business? Life isn't perfect. Time isn't perfect. So you're going to need to figure out how to stick to your business, how to hold yourself accountable to your goals, even when life throws you every single curveball. And that is when you're going to experience and achieve every single what if statement you can ask yourself. That's when you're going to hit your goals, when you figure out how to work through the bullshit as well as how to work through those perfect days. When you get up and be like, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways, that's when you're going to start hitting your goals. And that's likely what the secret sauce of my own business strategy is that I know what to do every day, and I get up and do it even when I don't want to, because I truly don't believe that motivation is actually a thing. I think there's going to be days where you have energy and you feel motivated, but that's not when the success of your business is built. Your success is if your business is built on the days that you do it, even when you don't want to. Even when life is getting in the way, even when, like, you've got a sick kid, I can't think of anything like other than a sick dog, but, like, you know what I mean? When life stacks shit upon shit and you still show up for your business, that is when you can hit any single goal you can hit. And as long as those goals matter enough for you to keep showing up, as long as that $200 enough is enough to change your life, oh my goodness, guys, you can do anything you want inside this business. Okay. So I want you to ask yourself how much your goals mean to you and how they're going to change your life, and what it looks like on the other side of achieving them. What can you now do? How does this change the lives of your kids? Like, a goal without an outcome that shifts your life, you know what? You're not going to show up for that, right? You're not going to do it anyways. You're going to be like, maybe tomorrow. Okay, so I need your goals to matter to you. I need everything you do in your business to direct you towards those goals. And then I need those goals to be so deeply ingrained in you that you're like, nope, not today. Like, not today, brick wall. I'm going to climb over you and I'm going to do it anyways. Oh, I love that. What if I could make enough money that my husband could retire? I asked myself that one in the shower this morning. What if I could live on an island and have a house by the ocean? I'm in for that. Can I come with you? And yes, I can carve out 1 hour a day. So many of you telling me that. Okay, so you know what we're going to do? We are going to identify the 3 main gaps that I see people having and how to push through those gaps. And I'm going to need you to be so incredibly incredibly honest right here. And I'm going to need you to call yourself on a little of your own bullshit here, okay? Because we all have it. And normally I can find, like, I see people fitting into one of three gaps, and sometimes you're going to have more than one of these gaps, but the only way to get through it and get over it is to actually be honest about which gap is the one that's holding you back. So if you already know what's holding you back, then you can throw that into the comments as well. But let me tell you, there's three gaps. The belief gap. Number one, you don't truly believe that you are capable of it or that it's possible. So the belief gap is you don't truly believe that you yourself are capable or that it's possible for anyone. Okay. Number two, the consistency gap. This is probably one of the main ones. You get started, but you constantly stop. And here's the thing, you guys, that gap, that consistency gap, that not being able to show up with consistency, oh my gosh, does it kill dreams? Because it is such an uphill battle when you start and you stop. When you're like, woo, and then you have to break for 2 weeks, woo, and you got to run to get back up that hill, right? Rather than just keeping at a consistent pace. And I posted this last week where consistency doesn't mean perfection, right? It doesn't mean that you're on 100% of the time. It likely means that you are a good 70 to 80% consistent. But it does mean the biggest piece here is that you don't quit for 2 weeks and then try to come back, right? It's like maintaining that level of consistency. And sometimes I will tell people, just work your businesses Monday through Friday, and then you rest on the weekends, because I know that it's not possible to be 100%. And that's never what I want you to strive for, because when we strive for perfection, which is not attainable, we end up chastising ourselves when we can't reach it, and that stops our businesses too. So tell me if that's one of the biggest gaps for you, and tell me if you're ready to stop the fall, right? To stop the stop, right? Tell me if you're ready to be consistent in your business. And number three is the action gap. You set all the goals, but you never take consistent action. And I see this all the time in my clients and in my team and in the women that I have worked with. It's like they wake up one morning feeling like they can take on the world, like they can do all the things. And so they're like, but what I've got to do first is I've got a plan. And I've got to, hold on a second. My husband just got home and I want to close the door. I loathe when he listens to my trainings. It's kind of horrifying for me. I have this rule in my house that, because I go live a lot on my videos and in my stories and stuff, I have this rule that no one is allowed to listen to me in my own house with me in my room, because the sound of my own voice. Oh. Okay, so I see this all the time. People, you wake up and you're motivated, and I've got to make these lists, and I'm gonna do all these things, and like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna increase my goals. I'm gonna go after this new goal, but first I've got a plan. And so I take that day where I'm all energized and I'm all excited, and I plan it all out. And guess what? The next day I don't wake up with that same energy, right? I wake up and I'm like, oh, but maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Or I wake up with all those hesitations and fears that come along with big goals. Like, what if like someone is looking at me, or like, what if I fail, or like, blah, 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 right? And here's the thing, you guys, fear comes along with goals. They are like best freaking friends, because before you can ever truly go for a goal, you're going to go through in your brain all of the reasons that you will fail, or all of the things that could happen if you fail, or all of the things, like all of the bad things. You're going to have to push through all of those. So let me know, do you feel like you fall into the belief gap, that you don't truly believe you're capable of it, or that it's not really possible for you or for anyone? Do you fall into the consistency gap? Do you constantly get started, but constantly get stopped, either because of your own self or because of things that are around you? And here's the thing, the things that are around you, they are an excuse, right? And I always say that there's nothing irrefutable about excuses. Excuses are nothing to be ashamed of. Excuses are real things that are happening in your life. Excuses will stop probably 80% of people. The question is, are they going to stop you? Right? Because they're real, they're happening, and they're going to stop most people. But the people that find success, the people that actually build consistent income, they don't stop because life gets in their way. They don't have a perfect life any more than you or I do. They're just willing to work through the swamp and the shit to get to the other side because the other side matters to them enough. Does that make sense? Or the action gap. You set all the goals, but you never take consistent action. I'm going to look at the comments for a second, and then I'm going to tell you how to overcome each of these gaps, whichever one you find yourself falling into. Oh, lots of combos. Oh, lots of consistencies. Oh, okay. Kristen says, I believe I'm capable, but there's something that makes me feel like I'm not deserving of all the good things. This is an interesting piece, you guys, because here's the thing. Feeling deserving, feeling worthy, that's a decision that you make for yourself, right? No one else can ever make you feel worthy enough or deserving enough of any of your goals. You just have to decide. And it's amazing. Like if we were to look at the way we parent our children or we think about babies or puppies or whatever it is, we believe that they deserve all the good things. We want to give them all the things. They don't have to do anything to earn that worthiness or that deservingness, right? They just are worthy and deserving because they are. You are exactly that. And I truly believe that you would never have a goal on your heart or in your soul that you weren't already capable of achieving if you got out of your own way. So some of these excuses, some of these things that we're feeling, we're just going to have to decide without any proof to not feel that way anymore and to get out of our own way, because sometimes these excuses or these things, they're really just speed bumps. And they're just speed bumps that, again, will stop 90% of people. But I truly believe that if you're showing up to a workshop like this, that you are that 10 to 20% that desires more and wants to overcome it. And a lot of times we'll spend a lot of time doing the work to overcome it. And that work is amazing work. And personal, I will never degrade like personal work, personal development. It's really, really critical. But at the same time, sometimes you just have to decide to believe in yourself. Sometimes you just have to decide to stick with something, regardless of the fear that comes up, right? Because fear is always going to be there. It's meant to keep us safe. But what I can promise you is no one has ever died from building a social selling business. I mean, I don't think so, right? No one has ever died from doing a post that made them feel uncomfortable. No one has ever died from doing a reach out and asking someone to join them in the business because they think they would be amazing. And even though we have those really real feelings of fear, you have to ask yourself if it's just a feeling or if like it's worth that level of fear and uncomfortableness to get to your business goals. How much it comes back to, how much do your goals matter to you? How much does that what if statement make you want to get out of bed and do the things even though they terrify you, right? Going live, doing trainings like this, like my husband said to me this morning, he's like, you seem a little stressed. And I said, I'm not stressed, actually. I'm really excited. But excited and nervous are very similar feelings, right? And so I'm a little bit nervous, like the trepidation that I may not say the right thing or all the things that I want to share with you doesn't come out the proper way. Like I never know. I only have point form notes and then I allow everything in like my body to just like spur out at you. And I just trust that I will say the right things. But if you don't feel like always feel like I'm out on an island here, I always feel a little bit nervous. I truly believe that feeling fear, feeling nervous just means that it matters to you, right? Just means that you care about what you're doing and that's not something that you do nonchalantly. And that's important in our businesses, right? So okay, so Tammy says, I don't have the experience and therefore the confidence. So if you do not have the experience yourself to have that confidence in yourself, I want you to borrow it from someone else. One of the things that I've always told myself along the way is that if it's possible for somebody else, that means that it's possible for me. So inside my company, if someone can experience a level of success and they've got a certain paycheck or they've got a certain rank or whatever, all that really means is that I'm not there yet, but it does mean that it's possible because someone else was able to do it. And no one else has anything that you don't have or can't learn. And so knowing that anything that you decide is an inevitability for you if you keep going, a foregone conclusion for you if you keep going, how freaking empowering is that, right? How freeing is that, knowing that if you just keep going, you can actually achieve any single goal you set your mind to. Okay, let's like go through Brand says, Lori, 1000% has more confidence in me than I do in myself. So I'm striving to be that person. Honestly, if you ever need someone to believe in you guys, any single one of you, I promise you that I will be that person. I will be that person that will believe in you until the day you tell me that you're quitting. The only way to fail in this industry, in this business, with any of your businesses is to quit. And the problem is that the majority of people quit before it gets actually good. And they aren't willing to put in the work or put in the time or get through the uncomfortable in order to get to the other side. We are in such a time of instant gratification that we have forgotten that there is sometimes work to be done before we get where we want to go, right? We're in this Netflix era where we're like, oh, I don't watch commercials anymore, although FYI, they're now charging you not to watch commercials. Or like, I don't watch commercials. I skip through. I get to binge. I don't even have to wait week to week to watch my show. So we are a generation of instant gratification. And when that doesn't happen, when we do a post that doesn't get a like or a comment or drive a sale that we desire, we quit because we didn't get that adrenaline rush. We didn't get that instant gratification. And so we tell ourselves that that must mean something bigger than it does. It must mean something more than the fact that, like, I haven't built the foundation to actually get that sale. I haven't built the connection to get someone to comment back on a post, or someone didn't have enough time in their day to comment, but they enjoyed that post, right? So stop thinking that your business is going to have that immediate gratification. Start realizing that you're going to have to do the work to actually earn the paycheck. And all of a sudden, the sea is going to part and you're going to see what is possible for yourself. Okay? Okay. Carly says, I need better social skills. Do you mean social media skills or social skills? Because what I can tell you is that I am probably likely one of the most awkward humans you will ever meet in actual life. So my social skills aren't the best. I'm a true full-fledged introvert. The fact that I can sit here doing live trainings is really only because I've done so many of them at this point. And because I'm talking to myself, not talking to a sea of people. Oh, I love that. Okay. So belief gap. You don't truly believe that you're capable or that it's possible. The way to overcome that is to look for the proof and surround yourself with cheerleaders. So if you are surrounded, like, you have to really look at who's in your corner, right? Who's the voice that's in your ear? If the voice that's in your ear is an unsupportive spouse and unsupportive family members, or friends that are like maybe belittling what you're doing or questioning it or being anything less than 1000% supportive, then you have the wrong voice in your ear and you need to find yourself a circle. And I'm not saying that you have to find yourself a new spouse, but sometimes we actually have to be honest with our spouses about what our goals are. And we have to tell them what we need from them. I will never forget back to my very first year of business and Wayne being like, and Wayne is one of the most supportive humans. Like, he pretty much lets me do, you know, anything I want, mostly because I'm a grown up and I can make my own decisions. But like, very first year, we keep in mind, we had 3 babies that were like, they are all 14 months apart from each other. My youngest is a little bit shorter than that with my second. And it was a lot of freaking work. And then a year after that, I was in a really terrible car accident, sustained a brain injury, have never really recovered and all the things. But I remember him being frustrated that I was leaving the house maybe more than I was. I frustrated that I was on my phone more often, frustrated that I was a little bit distracted. And I was getting frustrated that he was feeling frustrated, because I was like, in my head, I'm like, just be freaking supportive. I'm building a business for our family. I'm trying to create an income that will provide freedom for our family, make it so that we're not struggling every single month. Fucking be supportive, right? And then I sat back and one day I had the conversation with him and I realized the reason he wasn't supportive was I had changed the rules. I had changed the game. I had told him that I was just signing up for the discount, that I had no intention of working it as a business, and maybe I would sell to a couple friends and family, but like, that was it. And then all of a sudden I was leaving my house 2 days a week on my phone far more than I ever was before, and distracted trying to build a business. Well, I had not set him up for understanding what I was doing, or been even remotely honest about what my goals were and what it was going to take to achieve those. So if you don't have a supportive spouse, or supportive circle, like family and friends, then first start by being honest about what it is you're working on and why it means so much to you, right? Give them the benefit of the doubt that they will be supportive if you give them an opportunity to be supportive. And then if they're not, then you just have to block them out in a certain way. So for instance, I was coaching someone on my team yesterday, and she said, my family has actually asked me not to post so much about my business because they don't want to see it. And first off, my first thought was like, F that. Your social media is your social media, and you get to post whatever you want to post, and anybody else can just look the other way, because I truly do believe that. But the truth is her family matters to her, and her social media is a place where she connects with them. And so that mattered to her, and that really was holding her back. There is always a solution, you guys. So what I said was, well, why don't you just have like the people that don't really want to see it, why don't you keep them on like a little list, and when you post about your business and you don't want them to see, you just put them in a privacy so everybody else sees and they don't see, and you can continue to post with confidence and as much as you need to in order to build an online business. So there's always an answer, right? So make sure that you have the cheerleaders. This is one of the reasons I'm so passionate about the Academy, is because I see the relationships the women build together. I see what it means to work alongside other women that have big goals. And, it almost helps us dream bigger for ourselves, right? It helps us see what's possible when we see other people achieving. And I know sometimes we can get caught in the comparison game, and we can that can slow us down. But if you can stop comparing yourself and just say, if it's possible for her, it's possible for me, and you just surround yourself in that, that will close that belief gap even quicker, right? And sometimes we just have to choose to believe in ourselves, because you're also the only person that can ever make it so that you fail in this business, because the only way to fail is to quit, right? And you're the only one that can quit this business. You're the only one that can give up. No one else can force that on you, right? Okay. I love that. Karen says, my spouse, family, and friends are my biggest cheerleaders. And sometimes I don't think we recognize just how powerful and amazing that is, right? Having a supportive circle is huge. But if you don't have that, don't be afraid to manufacture that for yourself. Don't be afraid to do reach outs, to find yourself pacing partners, to get into conversations where they are working their business and they can help you do the same and you can help them, right? Some of my most powerful relationships that I've had over the years have been people not in the same company as me, but people with similar goals to me in different companies. So, okay, the consistency gap. You get started, but you constantly stop. The way to create this is to create a baseline activity list. And here's the thing, every single person in this training, every single person working a business should have a baseline activity list. And this is, okay, your baseline activity list. This is what you do every single day in your business, regardless of what's going on in your life. This is what you do to turn the lights on in your business, okay? This is not how you grow your business. This is not how you get record-setting sales months. This is not how you drive recruiting in your business, but this is the baseline, the foundation of building an online business. And so what I want you to do on a piece of paper is I want you to write out, what would your baseline activity list be? And can I commit myself to this every single day? Your baseline activity list should take no more than 10 to 30 minutes a day. The reason why we carve out 30 to 60 is because you're going to grow your business with the additional time inside that hour. But your baseline activity list, it's the thing you do when you wake up with a migraine and you can't do anything else. You still do your baseline activity. It's the thing that you do when you wake up and you get a call to go in for an extra couple hours of work and you don't have time for anything else. You still do your baseline activity. It's what happens when you wake up and all 3 kids have the flu and you're knee deep in puke and you can't do anything else. You still do your baseline activity list, right? It's the thing you do to say to yourself, I have an online business. If I don't do these things, I have not put the open sign up in my business. I do not have an online business. And what you'll be amazed is that you can actually build and grow some momentum with your baseline activity list just by being consistent with this. But I want you to make your baseline activity list so freaking doable that even on the worst of days, you can commit yourself to it. And this is how you close that consistency gap, by doing these things every single day, regardless of what day of the week it is, and regardless of if you want to do it or not. So just to brainstorm a little bit, your baseline activity list is your social media strategy. Again, we're going to talk about that on Friday, but on your baseline activity list is like on your social media is get really, really specific. So if you're doing one post over here, 2 posts over here, it's not just saying social media posts, it's really saying what exactly am I doing on social media every single day as my baseline activity. Other than that, likely placing orders and answering messages. And those are likely the only things that you need to do at the baseline of your business. Everything else is proactive, right? Is like actually growing your business. So I keep my baseline, well, I used to keep my baseline activity when it wasn't habitual on a note section on my phone. And I would literally, you know how when you have, I don't know if this is on an Android, but on an iPhone, in your note section, you can create those little like dots where you can like check them off when you've done them. It's so freaking gratifying. Put it on there. And then every single day you check it off when you've done it. At the end of the day, you uncheck, and you start fresh the next day. So gratifying. And when you can commit to that, you can literally build anything you want in your business because you've got that consistent foundation, okay? This is when you stop the stopping. This is when you're actually committing. And the truth is if you're not willing to do this, you don't have a business and you'll never have a business. You cannot, like, you need to have that consistency. And you know what, if your life is absolutely crazy, can you plan ahead and batch some of these activities on a weekend or like the week before? Absolutely. But the baseline of each single day remains the same, right? You just have to make sure, like you could obviously pre-schedule all of this content and then just check off that it has been done each day. Like if that's the way you need to work, then you figure out how it works for you and just make sure that it happens, right? Okay, the action gap. You set all the goals, but you never take consistent action. Does anyone fall into this? This is one of the most challenging gaps to close because a lot of people don't see this inside themselves. They see themselves as being like motivated and then life happens, motivated and life happens. And the thing is, on the days that you feel motivated, you feel like you can do anything at all, right? You feel like you're connecting all the dots, you're setting all the big goals, you're maybe creating the list, you're doing like things, but most of the time you're not actually taking action. Lists and planning are not going to equal a paycheck, okay? Let me tell you that again. All the planning in the world will never earn you a paycheck unless you're taking action. Action is the only thing that actually gets results inside your business. So sometimes planning is actually a procrastination tool. Sometimes planning is one of the biggest things that's going to hold you back inside your business. This one is so hard to see in ourselves. Sometimes we just have to friggin' move forward and do it really messy and do it like crappy until we have the time to go back and plan, right? Okay, so the way to overcome this, and one of the things that I like seeing is that you have sometimes breaking a goal down into smaller chunks. I sometimes call this a milestone map, and just working towards smaller goals will help you take action. I also think it goes back to the baseline activity list. The baseline activity list will also close that action gap because again, you're committing to daily action steps, okay? So that you're not just setting the goals, you are taking consistent action, okay? So a milestone map is like, let's say you have a really big goal. And so you're like mapping out how am I gonna hit this goal, but this goal is like really far apart. Sometimes what makes it easier is to chunk that goal into like smaller things. First, I need to like get to this level, and it's so much easier to see myself at this level than it is to see myself over here. So I just get this done, right? And I can actually take steps because sometimes our goals are so big that they paralyze us, that we don't know how to move forward because we don't actually see that goal as something achievable for us. So we need to pick smaller goals that we can see ourselves as, and we know exactly what to do to get to that goal. And then again, we resort back to that baseline activity. You couple that with your power hour, which again, comment power hour if you want me to do a bonus training in here on how to build out your power hour. But the difference between a baseline activity and a power hour is your baseline activity is what I do even when I can't do anything else. Your power hour is what I actually do inside my hour every single day to work my business. Your power hour assumes that you have at least 30 to 60 minutes to work your business every single day. And it assumes that you desire to grow your business, not just maintain your business. Okay. So, and that's it for you guys. That's it for today, you guys. Today, I want you to come out of today with your baseline activity list. And I want you to find yourself an accountability partner. I want you to really ask yourself, who is my circle? Who are my cheerleaders? What am I surrounded with? Can you find yourself an accountability partner that has similar goals to you and that wants to shoot ideas back and forth, who will call you on your bullshit when you're not getting up and doing your business, who will help you feel motivated, inspired, and energized towards your business? And can you create yourself a baseline activity list that you can commit to every single day, which will close both the consistency gap and the action gap? Both of those things will be solved with that, okay? Love it. So Heather is looking for Norwex friends. And don't be afraid of finding other friends in other companies, because again, it's amazing what comes together when you work with people in other companies too. So I love you guys. On Friday, we are going to talk about social media. And I'm going to talk about some of the trends that I see coming, and we're going to talk specifically about your personal social media strategy. And my goal for Friday will be for you to come out of the training knowing exactly how you desire to show up on social media and with a plan that you're ready to take action with. Remembering that your social media really is part of your baseline activity. Building an online business means that you're showing up and showing your face and showing your business every single day on social media. So let me know what your biggest takeaways are from today. Let me know what you're excited to move ahead with. Let me know if you got as much as I hope you got from today. Let me know if you're excited to work your business. Again, if you see someone isn't on this training, please tag them to make sure that they come back to it. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Always, always, always tons of fun. And I honestly cannot wait for Friday and to talk sales with you guys next week. Happy Wednesday.